We're always honored to have the chairman of the full committee here with us, and I would like to call on Chairman Mica for any statement he wishes to make at this time.
Well, thank you, Chairman Duncan and Ranking Member DeFazio, for holding this subcommittee hearing on a very important topic, and I think the administration's proposal for a national infrastructure bank deserves our review and consideration. I've been a strong proponent of creative and innovative financing methods, especially in a time when we have limited federal resources and states are scrambling to provide adequate financing for infrastructure projects, that we take and use every mechanism possible to move projects forward and expand our financing capability. Financing is an important key. Process is also important, and I'll hope to talk about those briefly. I've looked at the Kerry Hutchinson proposal from the Senate, basically the administration proposal. I think it mirrors a House proposal by Ms. DeLore and some others. And I've given a great deal of thought to creating a new national infrastructure bank. Wish the administration had spent a little bit more time consulting with members of Congress, myself and others, before moving forward with this. And as much as consideration I've given it, unfortunately, I'm afraid that a national infrastructure bank, as proposed either by this legislation or the administration, is dead on arrival in the House of Representatives. The reason is, there are several reasons. First of all, if you review the existing legislation, it creates more bureaucracy. If you don't think we have, no, that's not the right chart, but if you don't think we have enough bureaucracy, I've got a chart somewhere that shows the existing bureaucracy of the Department of Transportation. It's over 100 agencies' activities, and I guess this is supposed to be quasi-independent, would be out to one side, but if you just look at the chart of existing federal agencies and activities, we have tons of them. And you can use this chart now. We have 33 states that have existing infrastructure banks, and Mr. DeFazio in his opening remarks said they're up against the wall. Most of them, like the federal government, don't have the money to finance these infrastructure banks. So this chart shows what we already have in place. The problem is they don't have the funds. So rather than create a national new bureaucracy, another agency, I think we can utilize the existing infrastructure banks. You'll hear from the Oklahoma Secretary of Transportation shortly, and he'll tell you they have the bank, they don't have the money. So we have existing capability. The other thing, too, is what is all this about? This is about trying to get people to work immediately. To create this new federal infrastructure bank, it's estimated a minimum of a year. This requires setting up a bureaucracy, staffing it. There's over 100 positions. A cost of $270 billion. Now, if we could leverage that out, it's worth probably $1.5 billion, even a state that doesn't do very good leveraging. So the cost of $270 billion, when I already have in place infrastructure banks that can make immediate decisions, what they need is the financial backing. So that's another, these are some of the reasons I think a federal infrastructure bank is dead on arrival at this time if we want to get people working. Now, if you want a recipe not to get people to work, adopt that current proposal. If you want a recipe to put off job creation, adopt that national infrastructure bank proposal. And we can do just the opposite. We can get people working right away. Let me just talk about what we've got as far as existing financing structure. These are existing programs, and I thought we had a pretty good agreement both with the House and Senate TIFIA, Transportation Infrastructure Financing. We have a loan program and we have a guarantee program. And I think we've agreed on, the 33% federal participation can be increased. I'll go to 49, I'll consider others. So we can finance with existing structures if we modify it. We have a successful example that needs some improvement, and it does also have a loan guarantee program. The RIF program I checked yesterday, railroad infrastructure financing, has $34 billion in capacity. It doesn't work. The joke at Federal Railroad Administration that administers this program, the joke is that they've had more FRA administrators than they've had RIF loans granted. That's one of the problems. So we can make this work. It exists. We don't have to create a new infrastructure bank. We have private activity bonds, and again, I think they need backing. Garvey, government advance revenue, where you can dedicate a stream of federal dollars to projects. We can increase the amount of money that's available for commitments to states, and they can go ahead and get people working and do projects. Harbor Maintenance Trust Fund, and that had a balance as of yesterday of $6 billion plus existing program. So those are some things as far as existing finance programs. Let me go to grants, because again, the Kerry Hutchinson bill calls for loans, loan guarantees, and grants. Well, the last time I checked, folks, none of my banks have been willing to give me a grant. I don't know any banks that are giving free money out right now or grants. But the federal government has all of these agencies now giving grants. So we have grant mechanism. What do I need to create another one? And they're also specialized. Most of them do a pretty good job, too. The Federal Aviation Administration, people are critical of agencies getting their money out. They're the exception. They've actually got just about all of their money out through AIP money. Most of it's funded through a trust fund. And there are examples of getting grant money out. We've got plenty of agencies that can do that. So we have TIFIA that works. We can make it work better. RIF that works. Sometimes it can work a lot better. Harbor Maintenance Trust Fund. We've got a good example of a grant program with AIP. Finally, we've got a situation where we can get money. We can be creative. We don't have to create huge bureaucracy. But what we do need is some reform in the process of getting money out. We still have, and even if I create another, even if I put more money in these infrastructure banks at the state level, or we created a federal new infrastructure bank, we created the stimulus program with $63 billion for infrastructure out of $787 billion. As of September 1st, there was $22 billion still in Washington, D.C. after 2.5 years. You can't get the money out. In the past bills that we've done authorization from this committee, I asked the staff to total up how much money is still sitting there, T21, T-LU, ICE-T. There's $8.5 billion. So there's $30.5 billion sitting there that we can't spend that we have. So we can do a better job in getting money out that we already have. Yesterday, the administration announced that they're freeing up 14 projects for expedited process. Shovel-ready, as you know, has become a national joke because we don't have projects that are shovel-ready. Now, while they advocated and allowed 14 projects to move forward, they left thousands of projects behind. So we've got to revise the process and truly make projects shovel ready, or you can have all the money in the world, and we have money here sitting in federal accounts that can't be spent because projects aren't shovel ready. So we've got to address a twofold issue of financing and being creative and leveraging, and secondly, process. So with that, I look forward to working with folks, and I think we can find a bipartisan, bicameral solution to get money out, projects moving, and people working in this country, and yield back the balance of my time.